Hello, everyone, and welcome to another wonderful game. It's a really tough one, but also a really enjoyable one from round three. This is game two, the return game, Alexander Donchenko versus Anish Giri. The first game ended in a draw, and now Donchenko with white will try to take down Anish. And Donchenko eliminated David Anton in the previous round, so in my personal opinion, as I've been watching David Anton play for the last decade, he can pretty much beat anyone on a good day, and taking him down is no small feat. Anish, on the other hand, always in the world top 10, closing in on that top 5, depending on, the day, as we are mostly watching the live standings now, not the official FIDE standings. One of the best players in the world. So yeah, let's check it out. It's quite an amazing game, and you guys really wanted to see it. Donchenko with white opens with pawn to d4, and Alexander is representing Germany, and it's really been a while since we've had a German in the FIDE candidates tournament. In 1952 you had Wolfgang Unziker, and then you had Robert Hibner, who's been playing since the days of Bobby Fischer, even played in the same candidates as Bobby Fischer. If you remember, he got eliminated by Tigran Petrosyan. He qualified for the candidates like 4 times, and now Matthias Blubaum qualifying for the 2026 candidates. There's really hasn't been all that much, and now we're in a situation where just through the World Cup you could have 3 Germans in the FIDE candidates tournament. Vincent doing incredibly well. Blubaum already in the candidates. We've seen Frederick Svane eliminated the world champion Gukesh. Also, if he does well, he could qualify. And now Donchenko, well, it's up to him. So let's see what happens. d4, we have knight to f6, c4, pawn to e6, knight to c3, and bishop to b4. The Nimzo-Indian defense is on the board. And when you hear those words, you know that it's not going to be some sort of a calm happening, that is going to be a great fight. We have pawn to e3, castles kingside, and now bishop to d3. This is the standard bishop attack against the Nimzo. Everyone plays it, so you have to know it. Rook e8, we have knight to e2, and pawn to d5. Again, nothing new here, all been played before. Castles kingside, knight b7. The most popular, Anish goes for bishop to f8, which is also very much played. This is the second most popular move. e4, we have d captures, knight captures, and bishop captures on e4, followed by knight to d7. And there are games where bishop to e3 was played. Here we have queen to c2, and it is now, as of move 11, that we have a completely new game. Anish strikes with pawn to f5. He says, all right, that bishop is very strong on e4, let's kick it away, and then later on, as we have a knight on d7 and rook on e8, we will have support for pawn to e5. Bishop to f3, c6, gaining more control over d5, so we prevent white from executing it, and pawn to g3, freeing up the g2 square for the bishop, so it's sort of an artificial fianchettoing. We have pawn to e5, as now white has allowed it, bishop to g2, and e captures on d4. We have knight captures and knight to e5. So if this works, Anish can be very happy. But he does have a queen on d8. So Alexander goes rook to d1, nicely connects with the black queen, queen to f6, and pawn to c5. Well, not, a whole lot. It does grant you control over the d6 square, so Anish has to be very, very careful. We have pawn to a5. Also, you do not want white to cement that pawn by playing pawn to v4, and you don't get to b27, 59 like Anish without knowing when to stop white from playing pawn to b4. We have b3, queen to f7. Hard to say what Anish wanted to do with this queen to f7 move. Not a lot comes to mind. Maybe rook e7, rook d7 to counter the rook on d1, but other than that, does look pretty odd. But okay, pawn to h3, we have pawn to h6, and rook back to e1. We have bishop to d7 and pawn to f4, chasing the knight away, knight g6, and now not trading rooks but bishop to e3. Let's connect the rooks first. We have rook to e7, preparing to double up, and now you kind of always have to worry about bishop f1, bishop c4, but if bishop f1, you can play queen f6, king h8, king h7. So I guess it's not all that tactically impressive, even though the engine really likes it, and it's what I would play because, caveman brain. But yeah, of course, these guys are strong, so they go for more subtle ideas. We have bishop to f2 and rook a to e8. Anish completes development, and if, there's nothing wrong with his position, then it is perfectly fine. Rook captures on e7, knight captures. Now you can also get the knight to the d5 square, which will be excellent. Rook to e1 and knight to d5. Alexander trades the rooks on e8, rook captures, queen captures, and knight captures on f5. So by doing all of this, Anish sacrificed a pawn, but he will get some activity in return. Knight b4, he attacks the queen, puts constant pressure on that a2 pawn. Queen b1, and now queen to h5, threatening to win the knight, and if the knight moves, then Anish will capture on h3. Okay, knight d6. And the question is what to play here. Anish played bishop captures on h3. We're going to show bishop captures on d6 because this is a monster knight, and it is by far the best move that black can play. But even so, it's hard to find useful ideas here for black. For example, queen e2, only move that sort of works for black. You're going to get bishop f1, kicks the queen away, and if the pawn here is captured, already you have bishop to c4 check. King to h8, you're going to get the queen to g6, threatening queen f7, queen to g8, and this is now winning for white. So you have to really be able to find unique moves. Bishop captures on d6 is the only move that works for black, but only if you play engine moves. So Anish played bishop captures on h3, which makes a bit more sense. However, now after bishop captures and queen captures, you again are met with it is again met with this queen to g6 idea. And now, okay, what's black to do here? Queen f7 check will win the bishop, so you have to react to that. Queen to d7 was played, and now Alexander allows Anish back in the game. He plays pawn to f5, which seems like a no-brainer, f5, f6, but it allows Anish to get back into the game. The way to play this is just to play king h2. And now there's really no good move for black. And the main point being that now if you try to win back material, then bishop d4 puts pressure on g7, and okay, you bring the knight back into the game, knight f5. You're threatening g7 3 times, but more than anything, you're threatening knight captures on h6, which cannot be prevented. Even if you go king h8 and queen captures on h6 check, you go back, queen goes back, king goes here, queen h5 check, king to g8, and queen g4. Now threatening a check to win the queen, and it's hard for the black queen to avoid this while defending the g7 pawn. And if you go, let's say, queen c7, then again, knight h6 check, king to h7, and queen to f5 with check, nicely connecting with the bishop. And if king captures on h6, then look at this, g4. And the black king just gets checkmated. It doesn't matter what you do. It's hard to even find a move here. g5 is coming, whatever you play. Or, maybe knight d5, queen to h5, simple mate in one. So, yeah, it's a great position for white, but you cannot play f5. He did play it, and now Anish is back in the game all of a sudden. Knight to d5, we have bishop to d4, all makes sense. We're preparing pawn to f6, but now queen e7 gains more control over that f6 square, while also threatening queen e1 check. And good luck getting out of those checks. So king to f1, preventing queen e1 check. Now pawn to b5. Like nothing is happening. Anish says, I'm just going to continue the game. And he is correct. White really has nothing here. We have pawn to a4. B captures, and now the question is, what do you play here? It's a critical position. Anish only has one move that keeps him in the game. So what would you play here? That is the only important question, really. Well, I'll give you a couple of seconds. So the only move that holds the position for Anish is knight to e3 check, where if the bishop captures, okay, then you've lost an important attacker, and even though you will be able to win the bishop on f8, you will never get out of checks. So that's out of the question. And if you play king to g1, then the idea is knight c4. And now you're just threatening to take the material off the board, and there's not much you can do. And even if knight captures on c4, queen e1 check, and now you're just going to choose. Do you want to capture the bishop? Do you want to capture the knight? In most lines, you don't capture any of it. You just continue checking the white king, and that's it. Or on the other hand, if knight c4, you get pawn to f6, then you just start checking. Queen e1 check, king to g2, queen to e2 check, king to h3, queen to f1 check, king to h4, and if you go up the board, then you even lose the game, because now after knight captures on d6, c captures and queen to h1 check, there's no way for you to avoid losing the bishop on d4, whatever you play. King to g4, queen to d1 check, picks up the bishop, and we can even push it a little bit further. Captures, it seems like, okay, white does have these two pawns, but they're doing nothing really. If queen e8, you can just capture the pawn. f7 check, king moves, the bishop is defended, there's nothing there. So it is a crazy position, quite a lot to calculate. The problem for Anish, he's down to a minute and 50 seconds on the clock, and he doesn't find 93. He played queen to d7, and now his position is lost, and it doesn't require much. Pawn to f6. Donchenko played it right away. And now if you go queen h3 check, just king g1. There are no more useful checks. This is covered by the queen, and no more checks. And yeah, I mean, captures on g7 is coming. Nothing for you to do here. So after f6, knight captures on f6 was played. We have bishop captures, and you can't capture. The g-pawn is pinned. So queen to e6, hoping for queen captures on f6, but now knight e4. And the bishop survives. Anish is just down a full piece. His only hope now is some sort of a perpetual and maybe taking the match, the tie breaks. We have queen to c4 check, king to g2, queen to e2 with check, king h3, queen f1 check. Now the king can come to g4. We have queen to d1 with check, king to f5, queen to d7 with check, king to f4. And no more useful checks. Anish played queen to e6, and now pawn to g4. We have queen to c4, bishop to c3, and now even queen to f1 check, but king to e5, and he was in this position on move 47 that Anish Giri resigned the game, as there is nothing more to be done here. There are no useful checks. Once you play a move, it's a simple matter of king e6, and that's all there is to it. Queen a2 check, you can go king to d7, no more useful checks, queen to c4, knight to f6 with check, king h8, and queen h7 will be checkmate, or any other sequence, because there's just no way out. So yeah, Anish played a very nice Nimzo-Indian. He, you know, sort of went over the edge a little bit a couple of times, but then he came back. But then at that crucial point where knight e3 check was the only move that kept him in the game, he missed it, played queen d7, and that was enough for Donchenko to win the game. So yeah, like I said, anyone who beats David Anton can beat anyone, and here, I mean, taking down Anish Giri is no small feat. We'll see what happens in the other rounds, and some of the games are still being played. We're in the tiebreaks. Richard Rappot just eliminated Jauskan Nerdomush. It was a pretty tough battle, but Rapport just showing his class once again, and I mean, incredible match. But yeah, really hope you guys enjoyed it. Very much looking forward to what happens next. And once all of the games have finished from round 3, we will go over the results. We're not showing at least one more game from round 3. If you have any favorites, of course, use that hashtag suggestion. And if you still haven't, we're having a Lotus Chess Arena, the November one, tomorrow, 6 p.m. Central European time. First link in the description below. Register for the tournament, and as usual, join us for a couple of words. Share some stories with us. Crush everyone. We're going to have a good time. But yeah, hope you enjoyed it. I would like to thank Deepak Gangadaran, Udo Brandt, Leo Terune Loomis, Eddie Sphere, and David Gasparian for your contribution to my channel. Thank you a lot. I really appreciate it. As usual, you can check 2 of my previous videos here. Thank you for watching, and I will see you soon, continuing to check up on your wonderful suggestions and whatever else happens in the chess world. Thank you all. I will see you soon, and have an excellent rest of your day. And what do you think? Will we have 3 Germans in the candidates tournament, or maybe 4, as Blue Bomb already qualified? Well, only time will tell. See you soon.